Hi, welcome to Jake's Place. I'm Jake. Today we're going to make masks. It's April 2020. The entire world is dealing with the COVID-19 virus, and we're being told that we need to be wearing a mask anytime we're outside if we have to go outside. So today we're going to make this cute puppy dog mask, and I've got to throw out some credit to Melanie Ham. I don't know her, but I watched her YouTube video and I got a lot of good tips from that, so I'll leave a link to her channel in the description down below, and I'm going to throw in a few of my own ideas to make this mask. We're going to need 3 pieces of fabric that are cut to 9 inches wide by 6 inches tall. So I'm just going to cut this down. I found that this paper cutter works great to get nice even cuts on my fabric. Cut this down to 6 inches tall. And we just need 2 more like that. Okay, now that I've got my 3 pieces cut, I've got them laid out here and I've got to make the inner portion. So I'm going to take this and put right sides together. This is going to go upside down like that because we're going to sew right through the middle, and once we're done, you can fold this back and all the dog's faces will be facing upright. Or if you fold it the other way, they'll still be facing upright. Let's take these with the right sides facing into each other, and we're going to sew straight down the middle. So we're going to measure up 3 inches, measure in 2.5, come up 3, measure in 2.5. So we're going to have 2.5 inches of stitching here, 2.5 inches of stitching here. Alright, so I put some pencil marks. You may not be able to see that on the camera, but I've got a mark from here to here. We're going to stitch that up. Align that with my needle. A couple of stitches, do a couple of back stitches to lock it in. Go right up to the point where I left a pencil mark, and I don't think you can see that on the camera. A back stitch and a forward stitch, and then move this forward up to our next mark, which is right there, and align that with the needle. Make a forward stitch and a back stitch, close that up. Back stitch to lock it in, forward stitch, and we're done. And now I'm just going to clip the thread out from the center on both sides. Now we've just created the inner pocket with the slit in the middle that'll allow the filter to go inside. Now we need to take this over to the ironing board and get it nice and flat. Here we get our flaps out nice and even. Press that down with a hot iron. And we have the inner portion of our mask. Seems to me like 14 inches seems to be just about the right length for the elastic band. Cut that off and duplicate that. Now we have our 2 elastic bands that we can integrate into the mask. Now I've got all 3 pieces. Here's the front of the mask, and here's the inside of the mask. Those are the ones we just finished. And we want to put these together with the right sides facing in. So we want this to turn out right when we flip it inside out. So that means the inner faces, these are the right sides facing each other. We want the dog's faces both to be upwards. And in the middle, we're going to put 1 elastic band right there. And then we'll put the other one in when we get down to the bottom. I'm going to leave this in about 3/8 of an inch. And I'm making about a 3/8 hem on this also. Stitch, back stitch. I'm going to back stitch over the elastic a couple of times. I'm going to make sure that that is sewn in good because it's going to be under a lot of tension and we don't want that tearing loose. There we go. Okay, we're almost to the end. Let's put in our other elastic band in between the good faces. And again, I'm going to reverse over this a couple of times. Make sure that elastic band is sewn in good and doesn't tear out on anybody. Now we can start stitching the rest of it up. As you go this way, make sure that your elastic band is in. We're going to sew up the mask here. We don't want to sew the band into the mask. So make sure the band is out of the way. Now as I'm about to head this way, we need to pull that elastic band in here and get it out of the way, but we need to sew this end. I think we're pretty good right there. Again with the back stitching a couple of times just to make sure. Okay. We need to put this one in. Make sure it's flat too. You don't want your band all twisted up, so make sure that we're going to sew that in. There we go. Okay, to close it up, make sure that elastic is inside where it's not going to catch the needle anywhere. Close this up. Before we go turning this inside out, I'm just going to come around here and trim off the threads that are sticking out, and then we'll come trim off these corners. Remove some of the bulk that's outside of this. Now we can turn this inside out and see how it looks. There's our mask. There's the inside. There's our pocket to insert a filter if you so desire. Let's go take this and put it on the iron and flatten this out. Okay, so we ironed that out. We pretty much have a simple basic mask here that could be used as it is. But we're going to do a couple of things to enhance this. We're going to fold some pleats in it to make it fit more around your face. And we're going to put a paper clip right up here in the top and sew it into place so that you can bend this to fit around your nose. Okay, we're looking at the inside of the mask, and I've got just common paper clip. I'm going to bend this paper clip out. Like that, and then from the inside of the mask, lay that paper clip in there and slide it all the way up to the top edge. So I can feel this with my fingers, and then we're going to stitch all the way across and then make a couple of stitches here that will hold that paper clip right in the center, and then when it's finished you can bend that right over the bridge of your nose to hold this in place. Okay, so I'm holding this paper clip in place. I can feel it with my fingers right here. So I want to make sure that my needle is on the outside of this so that we don't want to hit it and break a needle off in here. But I'm just going to make a straight stitch all the way across the whole mask. Okay, now I'm just going to measure over. We'll get to the center. This is about 8 inches now, so 4 inches right there is the center point. So I want to make sure that that paper clip is just going to bend right in the middle. So right there. Again, you got to be really careful. Feel the edge of the paper clip right there. And make sure you don't hit that with your needle. And then we'll just sew that up and make it so that paper clip can't move. And then, same thing on the opposite side right there. There, and now you take that and bend it right around your nose when you put it on. It will hold its shape. Finally, the last thing we're going to do is add some pleats on each side. But you got to pay attention. This is the top. So from the top, we're going to make 3 pleats in here. I'm going to use this tool to roll it down from the top. You want the pleats facing downwards like that. You don't want them to be upwards where they would catch dust. So we're going to go in here nice and slow, because this is pretty bulky and you could break a needle on that too, so you got to be careful with that. Nice and easy on that bulky part. Once you get to that, it's already time to create another pleat. Our last pleat right here at the bottom. Okay, I'm not quite done yet because those pleats are going to be stretched around someone's face, and I don't know how much stress is going to be on the mask, so we're just going to go backwards and stitch back again all the way back. And then I'm going to go back forward. It looks like I got out of line a little bit, but it'll still be a good mask. Okay, so now we have our pleats on this side. We've got to match the pleats on this side, but now we're going the opposite way. So we're going from the bottom. So that means you've got to go in here and roll the pleat forward towards the machine to make sure that you're not making any pockets that will hold dust. You want all your pleats rolling downwards, not upward. There it is. We have a finished mask. Puppy dogs on the front. We've got the opening in the back. You can put a filter in if you so desire. Elastic bands to fit around your head. And paper clip right here, just push it down and it forms right there around your nose. There you go. I hope you're able to use this and make your own mask. Hope everybody's healthy and safe.